Hang on just a moment. I have to find you again. There you are.
Oh, there
I
I
have to be
am.
made.
You do. Let me make you a co-host. Actually, you should already be a co-host. Are you
Oh,
not
I'm
a
a co-host.
co-host?
Let me see.
Because, but you might have whisked out of the campfire room too quickly, and uh,
I don't know. Did I? Let me go into more. It just says breakout rooms.
uh,
It would be under more, or would it be under participants? No, it wouldn't be really
share
under. Oh,
screen.
yes, under participants. I mean, well, I'm there.
Well, share screen. Don't you have a green button? Share screen.
Yes, I do.
Isn't that
Let
what
me
you want?
do that. Yeah.
Excellent. That's very good. Now,
Cool.
what I really wanted to come to was, and a very warm welcome to Gaia's Zoom room on May 4th, 2021. It's Shannon McArthur welcoming you, and Joan Hardy. Thank you for coming.
It's
And
wonderful
Joan
to be
has our
here.
music to start us off.
Yes. So here it is. Let me just make sure that the volume is up at least. Yeah. Uh-huh. Here we go.
Oh, that's so beautiful, Joan.
Isn't it gorgeous? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so calming.
No, thank you so much. It helps to center ourselves.
Mm,
But yeah, that's
yeah.
where I would have ended it back when I,
Oh, back
yeah,
there, because it isn't in the next part yet. Yeah.
yeah.
But I can, let me just do this.
Ooh, look at that. That works so well. Oh, thank you, Joan.
Oh, you're very welcome. It is my pleasure to always bring music.
Well,
Absolutely.
you know, when we come into Gaia's Zoom room, it is a lovely thought that we can kind of take ourselves out of the madding crowd and the weird
Yeah.
world that we have endured, and
Yeah.
come into a place of, well, a campfire.
I like that so much. I love campfires.
So do I. I
Yeah.
mean, that's why I went on the road. And when I was in my long-term relationship, you know, we camped. That was our um, sanity. That's,
Yeah.
yeah. And that is where the OG's idea was born, was on those camping trips.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Because you see a lot of the world, um,
I
and
do.
not necessarily what one sees when one's at home. Uh,
True.
yeah.
True. It brings me to just seeing the campfire. When I was at women's circles, one of the years, they had a fire keeper,
Uh-huh.
and so she had this, set up this thing that, through the whole week, she was the fire keeper, and people could come and sit with her, and it was really nice, and I really liked it.
The firekeeper has a very important role in um, festivals and
Hmm.
sweat lodge and all
Hmm.
the rest of it. It's not a question of just, tending the fire. You're also tending the people,
Hmm.
the fire within people,
Yeah.
and to hear the people. Uh,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what you do when you're at a fire, a campfire. In any case, you bury your soul. It seems to shine a light right through the darkness
Yeah.
within as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. And you're
yeah.
out in nature.
Oh, yeah. The people next door, they have one of those fire pits, of propane fire pits, and they have it on every night, and it's like, you know,
Mm.
it's just wrong.
It's wrong. It's
And
wrong.
yet it's not. It's like, I understand why they want to have that. And it's like the guy down at the urban garden the other day,
Uh-huh.
um, doing weeding a new and different way. Uh, did I tell you?
No.
No? Okay. Propane fire thrower.
Oh my gosh. Reading
Yeah.
the propane. Oh my gosh.
Well, I guess in the springtime, I guess it works really well, for that carpet of weeds. You just get the top layer and you kill them all at once rather than having pull each one of them out, I guess.
Oh my gosh. I would
I
never.
know.
I don't weed. I have no weed. The weeds are as much a part of the earth
That's
as
that's yeah, that's permaculture.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like, leave it there. I hate to have my lawn mowed. You
yeah.
know, I
But
like yours out there. You told me it's about 8 feet.
8 inches, not feet.
8 inches, sorry.
The dandelions seem to have really gotten the idea. Yeah, they're all coming up very short stems, so they're coming up no higher than the level of the grass, and it's like, oh,
Oh,
they're getting smart. It's like
yeah.
they've adapted to lawns. They know how high to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, uh, I noticed just today that all of the original, because there's always new ones popping up, of course, but all of the originals are all fluffy now. They're all in their
Oh,
fluffy stage.
yeah, yeah. That is the step after my favorite part. And my favorite part is, of course, the yellow,
Yeah,
the full flush of yellow when you
yeah,
first
I
get
agree.
the
Oh my
season.
gosh.
Ah,
But the fluffy ones are actually so reminiscent of the Starship of the Imagination, which is from Carl Sagan. He did his Cosmos show and his book too, but in the show, he took us on the journey, and one of the Starship of the Imagination was like one of those uh, dandelion fluffies. Oh, it's really, it just takes me there.
well, it takes me to childhood. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like almost like a bubble machine, but it's no bubbles.
yeah,
Right. And that way you get to blow the seeds around so that they'll plant more.
yeah, and you find that when you pull up a dandelion that is done, and or that you don't want there, it's a weed. That's the definition of a weed, is that a plant in a spot you don't want it. And so if you pull up a dandelion that has, the flowers
Uh
all
huh.
yellow and beautiful, and you pull that up and you lay it down, it goes to seed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is so weird. It's like the life cycle still continues.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so neat. Yeah. So, oh geez, yeah, we were talking about Kiko Labs,
Hmm.
and I wanted to include that conversation on here. The
Yeah.
Kiko Labs was quite an interesting conversation on Monday. We were talking about the collective intelligence around race.
Hmm.
And what we can learn from it and how Kiko is using their platform in order to collect this, um, the what is learned in those conversations. Um, it was very interesting the way they have it set up, where it's like mind mapping, and so the conversation went this way, and
Mm-hmm.
so this person's contribution, and it's linked in there, and there's transcriptions as well as videos, and so snippets as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've used this mind mapping technique to show the different conversations that have been going on. And a very interesting tool. And I can really imagine Stan's um, Humanity Rising After Chats as being a part of this. Uh, it gives a level of depth that the wiki, the simple wiki that Stan has created, it gives an extra depth to that isn't available in a wiki, in a simple text,
Mm-hmm.
structure.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward very much to see how this could support what Stan is trying to create. It's a wiki of everyone, everyone on the
Universal
planet.
wiki.
Yeah, this is what he wants, and I can't say he's wrong, because I think he's right. Uh, and how do we do that? Well, he's on his way to doing that, I think.
That's
And it's
good.
and to give that extra bit of depth to it, and allow connections to be made. It's like when you look at one of these mind maps, you can see all the conversations that have happened. And it's like, it's important to be able to see the words as opposed to having to hear the whole thing. It's like
Mm-hmm.
um, it's like a card catalog, and in a library where you
Yeah.
flip through and you see what you want to read,
Right.
rather than going
Yeah.
to the books and going, oh, what's this one about, and having to read the blurb on the back. At least they have blurbs on the back, which they didn't have at one time. So this is really important. So this is like a progression of,
Yeah.
making knowledge accessible. So I'm really thrilled with what I learned, and I'm looking forward to more. Um, there was one of those moments, um, because there was Daphne. She was exquisite and so well spoken, and she was in my breakout room, and she had just been mentioned, referring back to a previous conversation that she'd been in. And so the first thing I asked her was, are you the Daphne that they were referring to? And she confirmed it, and then spoke for, 3 minutes or something about what she had spoken of. And that was very interesting. And then someone else took the floor and proceeded to take the rest of the time in the breakout room giving us her history, and didn't touch on the actual subject, which was racism and how it had affected each one of us. And so there was nothing really to bring forward to the group,
Hey, the phone's been with you, honey. Sorry.
when you come in from breakout rooms. Bless
Sorry.
you. Oh my.
Hey, the phone's been with you.
And so we had nothing really to bring back, but I was moved to speak in support of Daphne, to thank her for um, living the life she lived, and being able to articulate it in language that would allow me to understand, and how important I felt that was. And after I spoke, there was a good 30 seconds of silence. And then they talked about, wanting to capture these moments of silence. And I would, and they talked about it being a kind of honoring of the words. And I was quite surprised at the length of time it took for somebody to come forward to break that, because sometimes I'm quite surprised. Let me put it that way. I felt very honored. And so, yeah, I look forward to going back and being in a part of more conversations in the CICOLAB, Kiko Lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's odd because CICO, I always, when I looked at it, I didn't hear the key. I would have thought it KI,
Well, SICO is what I see when I look at it, SICO Labs. But they're collective intelligence, so Kiko.
Yeah. Interesting.
I guess. Yeah, it is interesting.
As an aside, I just wanted to let you know this before it goes out of my head. I had gone into Facebook yesterday, perhaps, and I had gotten a note from Julie, and she just wanted to know how everything was going. And she said, "How is Shannon?" And she said, "I hope that we get to talk soon." So
nice.
Because I know that you were saying,
I look forward to having a closer relationship again.
Yeah,
we had such fun.
Yeah,
we worked like a team. We were a team, and it was a wonderful team.
I wonder if she would ever come to
this.
To OhGs or to Gaia's Zoom, on either one of them.
Yeah, I hope to encourage her. I know she has her garden and all the rest of it. But we worked such long hours, and we burned out basically. And we had every reason to. And we had no celebration to make it okay. And so the healing from the overload, from the burnout, is taking longer. And I have to be okay with that. There have been times in the past when I've had burnout, and it can be pernicious. And so I'm just carrying on, doing the best I can, and thinking about how to present the ideas and the stories, and thinking about the website, Joan. How to put all of the things that should be put into this. Now, while we have this up and going, I want to include the reading that I did for the website. Because those 3 cards were, I thought, quite important. And so I'm going to see if I can find them. I know they're here somewhere.
Would you do that as part of the video, or in perhaps another video specific to the reading? To explain rather than have people reading the explanations? Yeah. And then I would have a picture. I mean, you'd have the picture of the spread,
Yeah.
And then you would be able to explain by word.
Yeah. And the, what I get from that, and
Yeah.
the actual what I'm working with at this point.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Um, it would give actually it would give an introduction to the website, uh, and what we're working on. What an
Hmm.
interesting idea, Joan. Rather than trying to scramble, just tell them where what the situation is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because we're all in a state of partially complete. And if you acknowledge the partially complete part, that's an apology for for imperfection, and truly, uh, we're all perfectly imperfect, and
Right.
yeah, so that's a good idea, and I think that I should make that a plan.
Yeah.
The the perception that is available by asking Gaia for input is really rather remarkable. It's like I had not thought of two of those, of the three cards that we got. Now,
Hmm.
the first one was the Guardian of Water reversed, which it needs to feel more welcoming and generous. And
Hmm.
well, good point. I really hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
And then the Ace of Earth reversed. It needs a method of donation. Well, I did come up with the store idea, but and an invitation to co-creation. I thought I'd put that on there as well, but I didn't think of donations. And the idea that I could allow donations. It's like, how lovely.
And when you speak of donations, you're speaking of all different types of donations, specific, not necessarily financial donations, but when people can bring things to, like,
Well,
almost.
that's going to be through the OhGs network, I think.
Hmm.
This,
Yeah.
this I think, is the method of donation to support me,
Okay.
because that was mentioned in the rune reading. Alex told me that, what you're doing, Shannon, you should not have to fund yourself.
So when we spoke about the Patreon page, which
Yeah,
is exactly what it was created for,
yeah,
then that would be able to be part of the website, linked to the Patreon page.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That was the reason why I created the Patreon page. Um, and so it should be linked in, and it should be, all of
Yeah.
these other shoulds
Yeah.
and the last one, the last of the three cards was the Six of Water, which shows the women in the
Yeah.
water up to their hips,
Hmm.
um,
Holding hands.
holding hands and raising their hands to the sky.
Hmm.
Sixes are peak experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is an exaltation, but also a praying for the future.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it seems very right that that be included as part of the website.
Hmm.
And that's the clarity that I want to invite into what we're creating. If I can't have the input of spirit, am I actually working on spirit's behalf? This, the way I'm looking at it. You know, it's really important.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, it's important to have spirits input, I think, on this.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm going to work on the website outline. I've kind of got that closer.
Oh, good.
Um, I could share that with you.
Oh, thank you. I'd love it.
All right, let's just share screen here. Oh, come on. Okay. So here we have May 1st website landing page and video. The intro video is not what we've been talking about. This would be an intro video to the website. I guess we did mention that, didn't we?
Mhm.
And I've kind of got it drafted, but it's basically covering the questions: who I am, what I believe, why they might want to know more, and what will be found on the website. So, hello, I'm Shannon
Yeah.
McArthur, also known as SonLight Sparkling on the Waters, a priestess of Gaia, blessed with a plan, a prophecy, and Gaia's promise of peace. Welcome to my website. I'm a storyteller inspired by beauty, the one we are, and the magic in ordinary moments. Personified as mom, how spirit personified as mom, she who inspires, guides, and changes all our lives. And what will be found on the website is the plan, Our Heart Gardens, including the OhGs Seed Manifesto, the mission, vision, and the projected retrospective from 2030, Qigong the Beauty Way, and stories of my life, the prophecies and incredible things that happened, divinations and tarot readings, the store exchange, offerings and invitations for co-creations, and the invitation to Gaia's Zoom room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's looking good.
Yeah?
And it's coming into an order that makes, is making sense of a good way to put,
It
for,
does seem to have a better flow to it.
yeah.
There's how to stuff everything I've already got into those categories and pages and whatnot. That's going to be the fun part.
But, and again, once you have the beginning, the opening video, the intro video, the website can be as big as it needs to be. And it's a matter of figuring out what might go where. That's the fun part, but maybe the more challenging part.
And what I thought, Joan, is that my riser sisters, the ones that have, well, in our last call on Wednesday, I suggested that I would find a place for everybody to be able to post a bio and links and whatnot. And the some of the email threads that we have had. We have been so supportive of each other, and we've been going for 6 years now, and it's been such a ride for all of us, and we have really benefited from the experience.
Did they have a hard time figuring out how to get here when you invited them?
maybe that's what happened, and I'll try it again.
Just ask them if they used Zoom. If
Well,
they have not,
tomorrow is going to be another
yeah, yeah,
call, so I'll look
yeah.
forward to that.
Then you could, I mean, because really, you sent to them, you sent to each of them the invitation, and all they have to do is click on the thing, and then they're here. The only problem might be if the particular computer or device that they're using says it's not supported or this doesn't support your device, that could be the big problem.
Yeah, yeah, but you have that experience.
A little bit. I've had the experience of not being part of not being
Yeah,
able to.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's sort of weird because Zoom is quite more accessible than like Facebook.
yeah, yeah.
I have a conversation periodically with a friend of Alex's, and it's on Facebook. And I have my thing from Facebook, and we looked and looked and looked the last time, and we could not figure out why my Facebook does not have the video option because it did at one time, or the audio option, or where is it? Because she has her home page or what her version of Facebook may be a different version. I don't know, but I know that like I had a different version previously, and then all of a sudden, I was on Internet Explorer and nothing supported that. So I came over to Chrome. And when I got into Facebook, it was like a foreign land. It was like I was a stranger in a strange land. And I still cannot figure it out. It's very, very strange because I mean, it has a couple of the things that, allow me to see, who my friends are and allows me to see Messenger. But for some reason or other, it doesn't quite. I don't recognize so much of what I used to recognize on the other version.
Oh, things change. Yeah.
But now here's how I was able to speak with her is that I went over to Alex's computer, and he has the older version,
Wow.
and it still works on his Windows 10, and he's in. And hey, what's the name of your browser? Edge.
Edge.
Edge. And that's a new browser that apparently they have, and I have an old, laptop, and they actually said try Edge, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
You're going to cause me a problem. I just know it. I just know it. I hate that it works on his because it came with that's the actual browser it came with.
Really?
Edge,
Ah,
yeah.
ah.
And of course there's always new versions all the time. But anyway, I just wanted to wonder about, maybe they had a problem either because it didn't support them or, for whatever reason,
Yeah.
they weren't aware or sure or were sure of how. I mean, you just click the link, but
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
And you can talk to them.
Hmm?
And you'll talk with them.
Yeah, I've got lots of talking to do. And the reason that's actually the next thing that I wanted to talk about was talking. Because tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock is my riser sister call.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we have changed our time to be 10 o'clock in the morning, my time.
Right, but tomorrow I'm not going to be here because of the
which is
vaccine.
perfect because that's my riser sister time.
Yeah.
And so we'll get together tomorrow in the evening, right?
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock your time, right?
Yeah, which
You know,
is
this is another
7 years then.
beat my drum. Okay, I just got to beat my drum here for a minute. Okay,
Sure.
wouldn't it be nice to all share one time zone? One.
Alex and I have talked about this forever and not, well, okay, here there have been some well, first of all, there was one state for the longest time that never, ever changed its time zones. During the
Yeah,
time when it was fallback, whatever
yeah,
they call it, they never bothered.
no.
And I happened to go in within this last year, and I noticed that several states were opting for that exact thing, not changing their time zone.
Right.
Or changing with the
The
whatever the
seasons. Yeah.
season, yeah. So that everybody's in this same place now. Um, it's still the problem though is still, I think though, no matter what, we're still 3 hours apart. Even if you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
How
I
does it
know,
make it?
Joan, but okay. Let me figure out how to share what I want to
Oh,
show you.
good, good,
Okay.
good. Yeah, because
So
that would help.
I'm going to go to Time Buddy.
Time buddy.
Time Buddy. Time Buddy is really a fabulous um, tool for understanding these kind of things. So I'm going
Where
to
is
share
that? I
screen.
mean, is it
I'll show you. Come on in.
No, but I mean, anybody could go there online?
Absolutely. See, this is the
Oh,
URL.
worldtimebuddy.com.
Yeah, and if you just put in Time Buddy works. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the coordinated universal time. So universal
Yeah,
time code. Now
yeah.
that is also known as Greenwich time.
Yes,
So
that I knew.
right now in Pacific, in my home right now,
Mm-hmm.
it is 7:15 and I'm on
Mm-hmm.
the 24-hour clock on this. And so it shows up as 19. Now
19,
over
yeah.
here, we can just change that over to 12-hour.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, change.
And you've lived with um,
That's better.
military time, as they call it here. So
Yeah,
you know what 19 means.
yeah. And for some reason, I'm not able to get to, oh, there it is. Good, AM, PM. So this time right now, you can see where it's grayed out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the time now. So if we were using one time zone,
Mm-hmm.
it would be 2 a.m. where I am.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being 7 p.m. in the evening, it would be, I would know it as 2 a.m.
Even if it wasn't 2 a.m.
We would not we would not know 7 p.m. because we would only have this. Everywhere in the world, it would be 2 o'clock
The
in the morning.
problem is if it was, but okay, I understand what you're saying. It's just that when we wake up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
it's just starting to get light now at, I don't know, 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock or something.
Uh-huh.
It's not light in other places. It doesn't matter that it is or isn't light. It's not, or that it's dark, that it's night or day, is what you're saying.
That's right. It's just a number.
But how could the world manage to get to one place? How would we?
By transitioning slowly into it, knowing that at your 10 o'clock at night, it's actually world time 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I want to make an appointment for tomorrow at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning,
Mm-hmm.
it would be 5 o'clock everywhere. So we would say to you in New York, you're at your 1 o'clock, it would be 5 o'clock. So
Right.
at 5 o'clock UTC, we would all join there. I don't care what time you call it at home.
Yeah, except
Time that we share.
yeah. But how does the world manage to actually pull that off and do that? How does, because we are ultimately the people who wanted to do that. Let's just say we wanted to do that. We wanted to be part of the UTC, no matter what time it was here. We would call it whatever the UTC was. Now, but we don't run anything other than our household. There's the rest of the
I
part
know.
of people. And how does everybody move together?
It has to be something like what happened with COVID. We all decide, except that it's a good thing. We all decide that we're going to, instead of everybody doing calculations on when these Zoom things happen,
Mm-hmm.
let's just everybody use the UTC. And just go with that. And it will
And hope that
transition over
everybody
time.
will.
It would transition over time. And it's because we're spending so much time on Zoom. If we start doing it, if we all just talk about the UTC, it will transition automatically, I believe. I also think that we need the 13-month calendar.
What's
Because
that?
what I didn't realize, Joan, is
that
how
like
far-reaching that is. Do you realize that if we were on the 13-month calendar, women would not have to calculate anymore when they're fertile and when they're not?
I don't
They will always know
understand.
when their period is going to be.
Why my head can't grasp that.
It's because it's on the same cycle.
So that would be a 28-day calendar.
Exactly.
That's
Which is
what you
the
mean.
same as a woman's cycle.
Yeah, but when you said 13-month, that's sort of like went over my head.
Yeah.
A 28-day calendar.
Yeah.
Which Alex actually made for our house.
I know. I want one.
He'll make it for you.
Would he?
Sure he would. Absolutely.
I would love that. I would love to see his calendar.
You want to see it?
I do.
Oh, well, can I get it? Oh, hang on just a minute.
Okay. Pause.
Stay there. Don't go anywhere. Don't fall. There I am. Okay, first of all, what he uses is a is that's a favorite thing of his.
Oh, I love balloons.
Yeah. So we begin with January.
Good.
This is
That's a good place to start.
This is a regular calendar. That the Gregorian calendar, I guess I don't know what else to call it. Okay, so the word January will stay up there for January.
Actually, the 13-month. I don't know. Carry on.
Okay, so he named the first part of January Elise, and the second part is Irene. Now, in this particular thing, Elise begins on the 1st and ends on the 28th.
Okay.
And then Irene begins on what would
29th.
be the 29th and goes into February, Irene starts there. Now, each one of the days of the week has a name: Aurora, Luna, Isis, Vesta, Isis, Iris, rather, Freya, and Ellie, or Ellie. Okay, so then you can see that this is a February calendar, but it is really the 4th of Irene. That's
I
how
see.
we do. So, and it goes until you reach the 28th, which is right there, which would be the 25th of February, but in this is the 28th-day calendar.
Right.
So now we're in Alice, begins here. And Alice is the second part of that. You move over to March, then you have Alice 4, 5 through 28. And then the next one is Iana, I-A-N-A. And that begins down here. So it's a 28-day calendar. Now, the one thing that we came up with, I don't know if it's in the calendar.
Does it come up to 13 months?
What it comes up with is 12 months and 1 extra day.
Oh, it does come up with 12 months. Yeah, that's it. The 13-month is something different yet again, I think.
Yeah. So when you get to the end of what we made, it was the extra day.
The day out of time.
Day out of time was, honey, was the day out of time Beltane, or was it the day before, the 30th? In the calendar, 28-day calendar. Was it Beltane or was it the day before? He doesn't remember.
Look at Beltane.
Well, here,
look at your calendar.
Yeah, that's true. But here we are down at December. So let me look at May, which is when Beltane is. Okay. So in the regular count, in the regular May, Beltane is here. And it's the 9th of Alexandra. So and he's not really quite sure. Let me go back, because it would either be the 30th, but that says that it's the 8th. I think that it's not in this calendar, but that would be it. So the 13-month calendar would be just 13 months of 28 days. No leap years, no nothing.
Well,
is that right?
No, I don't think so. And I'm not sure. And I do have to look into it more.
Yeah.
Because
that it would be 28-day calendars. But
I think that's the Mayan calendar. And that works with the actual moon. 13 moons in a year. And that's what I'm looking for.
But sometimes there are two moons in a month.
Well, I know, but that's because of the way that the calendar is set up, not because the moon is weird. The moon is at least one of those few things that you get to depend on.
Right. Hang on. What? Yeah. Okay. So basic, come over here and say that. Speak. I think he'll hear.
Yep.
You'll hear him.
Yep.
He has nowhere to sit. Sit here, honey.
I actually see the man.
There you go. There's my husband.
Hi, Shannon.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm thrilled to meet you.
Oh, same here. Same here. I've heard so much about you.
Oh, well, I bet
The,
you do.
the wanted posters don't do you justice.
He's got a funny sense of humor. Okay. So tell her what
Okay,
you were saying.
on the 13-month calendar, the nice thing about it is that it's 13 months and 28 days. You don't have to worry about this 29 days and 30 and 31.
Yeah,
It always drives me crazy.
me too.
So just the easiest way to do it would be to start out to count 20 out, 28 days.
Yeah.
Then the next month, 28 days. And at the end of the year, you're going to have a day left over.
Right.
So whatever your 13th month is, just add a day to that.
Yeah.
So that you've only got one day that's gonna 1 month that's gonna have an extra day in it. None of this 30 and 31 days you have to.
Well, Alex, my problem is that um, the 28-day calendar doesn't seem to be the same as the 13-month calendar.
But it is. If you take 13 times 28, it comes out to 364.
I thought so. I'm so glad. Thank you
Mhm.
so much. That was the
Yep.
question that I wanted to confirm.
Yeah, and if you get to now, of course, for every 4 years, you're going to have the leap year.
Right.
So
But
then
that's only in the Gregorian calendar.
but if you want the
I like-
calendar, but if you want the calendar to correspond to seasons like exactly a year from the last time, like every May 1st, it's still going to be May 1st, and the season's going to get out of line if you don't take into account, make an equivalent.
Right. You need a day at a time.
Hmm?
You need a day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the day was put in the Gregorian calendar because the solar year and the lunar year were different, and eventually the Romans their harvest time was coming in the middle of winter, and that couldn't, so they had to make a correction in the calendar.
Yeah.
So,
Every 4 years, they throw another miscalculation in there.
yeah, because
I
like
know.
it's the actual year is 365.25 days. So eventually you're going to make up the extra day, and that's where the leap year came in.
Well, Alex, what Joan and I have been talking about is the adoption of the Universal Time Code.
Tell
UTC.
him. He'll like that.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
I believe that the whole world should have one time.
Mm-hmm.
And so
tell
we
him
will
about the
stop
website.
playing with all these time zones and what time are you in and all the rest of this crap that is just, it's crazy making.
Yeah.
It's world time, buddy.
If we work it with this change over to the 13-month calendar, what happens is that women are freed up from having to count their cycles.
Exactly. 28-day period. It'll always start the same day of the month. It'll start the first day of the month or the fourth day of the month, whatever you're at.
All of a sudden, everything becomes easy.
Mm-hmm. It does.
He understands these things.
Yes, I know. And I love that he understands because this is so powerful.
It really is. It really is.
And how, and Joan, sweet woman that she is, she said, well, how are we going to make them do it?
The world?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. That's the biggest problem because not everybody will even comprehend.
You have to appeal to people's sense of what's in it for them.
Yeah.
And what's in it for them is the fact that they won't have to, like, 4 weeks. I mean, for business, for anything, when you calculate things, if you have like a year is exactly 360, if you were 52 weeks, you can't really calculate that if you want to find out what your yearly interest rate is or whatever. You have to fudge the calculations. Like if you're doing it by a monthly, you have to multiply it 4.3 to get what an actual year is, and it's messy. This would be a much better way, though. During the French Revolution, the French had an idea. They divided the day into like the hours. They put 100 days in the calendar, but they used the metric system to try to tell time. It's
Weird.
a little messy, but they had the right idea.
Isn't
Well,
he smart?
well, yeah. And you did well, Joan.
I know. I know.
I did pretty good myself.
Oh, he did pretty good himself.
Well, I quite agree, Alex. I quite
My
agree.
God.
And I'm
And,
so glad that you're there with her.
oh, me too.
Very special
too.
woman. And
But that really is an excellent. Anything we can do to make time uniform is better. Like you,
And
you
there's a
bring a good
website.
point
There's a
about the
website called World Time Buddy.
World
Is
Time
that it?
Buddy.
I'll show it to you.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, and then I'll send it over to him.
All right.
Sounds
Coming
good.
in now. There you go. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Same here, Shannon.
Yeah,
Take care of yourself.
you bet.
Nice
Yeah,
to meet you.
too.
He or she is back.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hang this up, or do you need to hang it up?
Ah, I'll try.
Okay, if you can't, just leave it on the toilet seat.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very, very interesting. Thank you for lending him to me for a moment.
Oh, my pleasure. I like lending him out.
Well, he has such a wealth of knowledge.
Oh my gosh,
To be able to
he's so far over my head.
and thank heavens that we have people like him and people like you, Joan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's amazing, really. I mean, that he's so smart, and I don't. I don't comprehend a whole. Oh, but there's a great deal that I do comprehend. There are things that I have automatically, like he's into physics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also one of the things that I comprehend, interestingly enough, is linear versus nonlinear. We talked about those. Yeah, and I get the nonlinear.
Of course you do.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm just gonna throw this very quickly and send it over to his computer so that he will have it and he can
Play
go
with
take
it.
a look at it and play with it. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a very useful tool that I hope will not have to be used forever, because the way I look at it is that the um, divine masculine fractured time in order to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Fractured our time so that
Yeah.
we couldn't keep track of it, so we lost the control of it.
Yeah.
And it's now in the control of the matrix. And so I believe that we need to take our time back.
Well, that's what we've been talking about in terms of, and what I was saying earlier is that some of the states are now transitioning over, some of them, but it's all a matter of, I guess, I don't know, whatever body the government for each state chooses to enter that into their whatever to do.
Yeah.
Some states are going along with it. New York, unfortunately, has not. Not sure why, and I'm not sure if they ever will or whatever. But it would be nice. A couple of years ago, here in this country, they actually talked about stopping the seasonal time change. They also talked about, which I thought was a great idea, stopping mail delivery on Saturday, but they never followed through on either. So here we sit, you know.
You don't believe in mail delivery on Saturdays?
One of the reasons, it isn't a matter of we don't believe in it. One of the reasons is that mail coming in on Saturday is just another day to, well, for Alex especially, to, because he's the one who takes care of all of the,
Finance?
yes, that's the word. Thank you.
Sure.
I can't think of words. But and so it's a matter of what bills, what financial information is coming in. And if we could have 2 days without mail, that would be just very so nice.
Joan, I've got to tell you, there is one way you can make that happen. Don't get the mail.
Well, we do that.
Don't get the mail. Just don't.
And actually, we kind of do that sometimes. Like in winter,
Yeah.
if it snowed, we don't get the mail.
No.
We're not going to go out in the snow. When we get out to the mailbox, we pick it up. The unfortunate part is that we do have to have, and Silvio will do it. He will shovel out in front of the mailbox so that, because the truck who delivers mail will not deliver mail if he can't reach your mailbox.
No.
He won't get out of his truck.
No.
And that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they just changed the trucks too. I'm not really quite sure exactly why, but they used to be open, not open like convertibles, but they had these big, huge windows.
Yeah.
Now they have these very sleek looking trucks that look like a with a regular window that rolls up and everything. It's weird.
Wow.
To see that. They just started that. I noticed it. I was like, what is that?
It's weird, man. It's just weird.
But anyway, we'll work on making you a 28-month calendar.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Now, what you need to let us know is what. Oh, he said send him one and he'll make it for you.
Send him one what?
A calendar that you would use.
Oh, okay.
You know, and then he will make it that way. Now, here's the thing. We also, just tell us what you would like. Yeah, what would you want to name the months and the days and stuff like that? That's what he did, is he changed the name of the months and the days. It's very old pagan.
I like his focus on women.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I. At least.
yeah.
But yeah, you'd have to choose a specific calendar that you visually like looking at, because you would never ever have to get another calendar ever.
Yeah.
Because you would just continue to use that over and over and over again. So that kind of thing. If you just tell me what you're looking for in a calendar, we could go looking at Amazon and you could look at the pretty calendars that you like and just tell me which you like and I'll get one for you.
Oh, that sounds lovely. It makes me wonder why Amazon wouldn't have a 28-day calendar.
Because Amazon lives
that's
in
right.
another part of the world.
Right, yeah.
And actually, Amazon doesn't make the calendars, just sells them.
That's right.
There was a book, Alex, what was the name of the book? The Goddess, the White Goddess. Robert Graves. Graves. Robert Graves. It's called The White Goddess. It's a book, and it includes that kind of information in it.
The White Goddess.
Yeah, The White Goddess. Robert Graves, he said. Let me just go over to what do you call it, Amazon for a minute and say specifically if that's true or if it's available. just have to go in. Oh, I got a pop-up. I had to look and see what it was.
Of course.
Oh, cool. Okay, I put it for 10 now. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, I'm gonna just put it to sleep for, let's say 20 minutes or something. 10 o'clock. Ooh, Alex, could you get a pill for me? Thank you. So if I go into Amazon and look for the White Goddess, hopefully, I don't know if it's out of print or not, but it shouldn't be. And the nice part about it was we actually, we used to watch Northern Exposure,
Mm-hmm.
and they mentioned this book in the show.
Wow.
The DJ was having invited some Robert, supposed the person who wrote the book, to come up to Sicily, Alaska, and talk with him. Be a guest on his show.
Oh, nice.
So and it I think it's here. Hang on just a moment. Let me see if it actually brings it up. The White Goddess, a historical grammar and of a historical grammar of poetic myth. But that's exactly the book right there. Let me
Share screen.
yeah. Let me just come back here. Oh, gracias.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, that's swallowed. Now, share. So this is the book right here, and it does not have. Oh yes, look inside the book.
All right.
I don't see a calendar set up. Want me to send a link to your phone to set up your calendar? Okay, so this is the beginning of the book, and it should actually
Down.
allow me to go down, but you know what? I think, oh, there it is. Okay. Good. Oh, good. Okay, good. I'll go back up. So the table of contents. So there's the White Goddess, and then it says Guion's Riddle, a visit to Spiral Castle. Yeah, Guion's Riddle solved.
Uh-huh.
Hercules on the Lotus.
Uh-huh.
Do you understand the word Guion? I don't.
Guion, I would have to think that that is a person.
Okay.
So, and what I'm getting on this is time of Arthur and the Round Table.
Oh, could be. Could be.
Guion is that kind of a name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Hercules, I don't know how he comes in, but
well, because it's part of the gods and goddesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Palanques and the cranes. I don't. Roebuck and Thicket, 7 pillars.
But the tree alphabet, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. The Waters of Styx, the Triple Muse. This is beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Return of the Goddess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I might have to actually read that. The Battle of the Trees. Doug, Roebuck, and Lapwing.
Oh, that's the forward. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Quite interesting.
Yeah. The White Goddess.
Yeah. I've been looking for books that would interest me.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that I read books on magic, experiential magic mostly. And it seems to be going back to when I was a kid. Like I read a lot of Edgar Cayce.
Yes.
And, a lot of books about extrasensory perception and
Mm-hmm.
Life After Death, and so those kinds of books.
Do you know that
And
I
the
worked
thing,
for the,
what I found, Joan, is that I got tired of reading them because
hmm.
it never took me any further.
Do you know that I worked for the Parapsychology Foundation?
Yeah.
Yeah, which was a 10,000 book library with books on all manner of, mystical and etc. Um, it was such an interesting place to work. I had all these books at my fingertips. It was
Yeah.
great. It was great. Yeah. And I have a friend who worked, I mean, we met, he was the librarian, and we're still friends. We talk to each other every year.
Wow. No,
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been working with you in that place.
It is a
Uh,
beautiful
it
place.
fascinated me when I was a kid. And what happened was I just got tired of the stories because, it never took me any further. I didn't,
Yeah.
I wanted access to the mystery.
Mm,
And by reading the books, didn't give me
didn't give it to
access.
you. Yeah.
And so I put them away. And now, of course, I'm part of Humanity Rising and part of the conversations at Kiko Labs. And so I'm anticipating that there may be an opportunity in the future to be able to take this further, because I know that there's stuff that I don't know, and it's that's the part that's intrigued me all the way
Yeah.
along.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, gosh, I had something I wanted to mention. Well, I can't remember that first part, but um, you spoke of automatic writing.
Yeah,
And have you ever read Ruth Montgomery's books?
Ruth Montgomery.
Oh, I know what I was going to ask you, but go ahead. Have
Uh,
she was an author. My mother and father had her books in the house, and she wrote about uh, magical things and stuff like that. Have
Interesting.
you have you ever heard of the psychic? I guess is one of the words that they used. Eileen Garrett. She was British.
Doesn't, yeah, doesn't, I
She
don't
was
recognize it.
she was the mother of the woman who started. Well, she actually started it while she was alive, but she was the mother of the woman who started the Parapsychology Foundation.
Ah,
But she was in Britain, and she was a psychic. And there's information on her. I could find it if you want and
Ruth
send it to you.
Montgomery.
Not Ruth Montgomery, Eileen Garrett.
Oh, Eileen Garrett.
Yeah, she was a psychic in Britain, um, and I could look up what some information about her. But Ruth Montgomery also had some very good books. I read them. I remember reading them as a child. I don't remember, not a child, but a young person.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember right now a lot of the things that I read, but there were a couple of things about automatic writing.
Yeah.
The There was a book with the name Jason Darby in it, which it was a fiction, but it was about automatic writing. It was the person that did automatic writing, and it was very interesting, very interesting.
Yeah. Playing with all sorts of different tools. And
Hmm.
yeah, so I have very much enjoyed this evening, Joan. Thank you so
Right.
much for coming and playing with me here in
Oh, my
Gaia's
pleasure.
Zoom room, talking about Our Heart Gardens, OhGs, and all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had a special guest.
A special guest, Alex Hardy. Wow. Yay. And the
Yep.
crowd goes wild.
Yay.
Yay. Excellent. So thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording now.